This is the Just a Position podcast, and your stance on anti vaxxing is actually stupid, and you look like an idiot. So, this is the show for today. We have Steve with us,
Hey,
we got Randy,
Yes, sir.
and Randy doesn't have a webcam today because he don't want to be on camera and shit. So, we just
That's
gonna let
not
him
it. I don't have
he
my
can't.
camera.
We can't afford it. He charges us extra when he's on cam.
Yeah, he's down bad.
Yeah.
Right. We got a couple of topics today, and then just forewarning, we're doing a Suicide Squad kind of like in depth. So we'll mention it before we actually say it, so you can like click away or mute or whatever, so you don't get spoiled. We have a Dead Space update, some EA college football stuff to talk about, Trevor Moore death, which is very sad, and a few more things. And our main topic is going to be how we maintain a good work and life balance, or how we at least try to. So, with that, we'll get into our first headline, and that is the Dead Space update. I'll throw that to you, Steve.
Yeah, it's a quick update. Essentially, they're targeting fall of 2022 for a release date, so we're about a year out from it. From the article I read, it's an IGN article. We can link it. It sounds like they're positive. They're feeling good about the progress they're making, and they're hoping to meet that target and trying to keep a realistic target for that. So we got about a year before we can actually get hands on the new Dead Space remake.
Damn, that's kind of unfortunate, but I'd rather them take their time on it and make sure it's good. So I'm not too unhappy with that.
Yeah, and there's some good games coming out between now and then, so hopefully, we'll be entertained. This wasn't brought up and written down or anything, but did you get into the Back for Blood beta?
Hell yeah, I did. I played that shit a good portion of the weekend. It was really good. It's more robust than Left 4 Dead was, which for those who don't know, it's made by the same like dev team. It's still like a 4-player co-op campaign zombies type of thing, but it's got some light, like very light. I don't even want to say RPG elements, but there's like stat boosts and buffs you can do pre-game that kind of make you more powerful. Basically, it's little shit like increase reload speed, increase ammo carrying capacity, shit like that. But it's really good. It ran really well for a beta, and I'm definitely looking forward to that shit day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I played it a little bit, not as much, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if it was just when I was playing, but I was teamed up with a couple bots a few times, which is fine. But it was interesting. I think they were calling them decks, where you can boost before the game, right? Yeah, that was cool. I like that element. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting that. I probably, like an idiot, spend some money and get it on my PS5, since there's not a lot of good games on there, and I want to play it. So
Yeah,
I'll pay for it.
yeah, and it's like I'm one problem I did have with it is the bots are really bad. Like I had on 2 occasions where they just jump in the water and kill themselves. Like one jumps in the water and then the other bot goes to try to save them and they both die. So, and the difficulty with bots is really fucking hard. Like you cannot
Yes.
I wouldn't say you could play that shit solo as it's scaled right now. This shit is really hard.
Yeah. The bots were basically useless. The only value I got out of it is, I think in my first game, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I died, and I was able to take over the bot's body and keep playing the same map. That was the only benefit to the bots.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Right. Next, we have the EA college football topic. So, Randy, do you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, so the biggest reason why the college football franchise stopped being produced in the first place was because there was a huge hang up on what EA thought was fair and what the college athletes thought was fair. So every year that you would get an NCAA game, it would have the real life rosters. Like, for example, like whenever Tim Tebow played for Florida, Tim Tebow would be the quarterback. It just wouldn't have his name. It would say QB 15, but literally everything's the same. His date of birth, his hometown, his stats, his number, his build, etc. And obviously that pissed off tons of athletes because they weren't being compensated. The guys in Madden get compensated, but since these are college athletes, they weren't. So EA announced earlier this year that they are going to be bringing back the NCAA franchise, except it's going to be with generic players, which I know for a fact I'm okay with that, because after about 3 or 4 seasons of the Dynasty mode, they're all fake people anyway. But what's really good for the people that do care is it's looking like they are going to be able to pay the athletes in the future. So we will have real athletes in the game, not only all of their likeness, but their name as well. At launch, the game is likely not going to support that, but the way that their database is set up, it's going to be a very easy. It's basically going to be like an online update, like throughout the seasons. They already do that with games like Madden, where they do like roster updates and add new players and remove old players that are either out of the league or like legal troubles and shit like that. So it should be really seamless. I'm really excited. Like I said, I don't really care about the real players being in the game, but it's really cool that they're working to do that.
I think I don't mean to correct you, but I think the reason that it died, the college football, the NCAA franchise, is a lawsuit because the players wanted to be compensated from the NCAA, since EA was paying them a shit ton of money to use their teams, the Alabama Crimson Tide, whatever. And the players were getting nothing. And there was a major lawsuit, and it went in the players' favor, which is why we're seeing this. What are they calling it? The NIL or whatever it is, the name, identity, likeness. Yeah, whatever it stands for. That's what came out of the lawsuit. And right now, I'm pretty sure as you see, it's on the Twitch stream. It's not going to be called NCAA. I don't think the contract is with the NCAA. It's with specific teams, and they're hoping to get something with the actual players themselves. So from my perspective, players they're the ones out there earning the money. These colleges make millions, sometimes billions of dollars on a player going out there and getting a concussion and working their asses off every Saturday. So I think it's an awesome breakthrough for the players, the ones that are putting themselves at risk. I don't know what this is going to look like. I'm curious because with Madden, the last couple of Maddens, they have the community channels. So, like if I wanted to play Madden 20, I can't get a roster update, but another player like me could have created a new roster, uploaded it, and then we can download it. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a factor. So if EA can kind of get away with it, we're not making them, but some asshole in their basement is actually making each player and uploading it. It could be an interesting development.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, like day one, basically. Because if they're gonna have downloadable rosters, I like you said, there's 100% gonna be guys out there doing that. They did it back in the day for the NCAA games, so I hope that they've got that. But if not, they're claiming that they'll do it themselves. Just we would have to wait for it.
Yeah. I love it. I still have. I'm looking over at I think I have 14. I still play that on occasion. The NCAA games were so much better than the Madden games, especially the last couple of versions. This is cool. I'm excited about it.
All right. So next we have the tragic death of Trevor Moore. I'm not sure if anyone doesn't know who he is. Like if you're into like edgy comedy, I guess you probably know who he is. Like he had the show on what network was it? IFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sketch comedy show called The Whitest Kids You Know. It was in like the mid 2000s. Really funny show. I don't think it kind of like aged well because that shit is like really edgy to be on TV. But yeah, he passed away this weekend tragically. I didn't see at the time when I like looked at that article. Do we know the cause of death? All I saw was that it was labeled as an accident.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's been, and I haven't looked for it because it sounds like the family's looking for privacy. So all that they're saying right now is an accident.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Like that show, it was one of the funniest shows I watched at the time as like a preteen, I guess. But like whenever a new episode would come on, like me and my friend would get on the phone and just watch that shit together and just crack up. It was so good. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it when it was on its initial run. It was one of those shows that kind of went viral before that was a common thing because I would get skits, specific sketches sent to me randomly from people. I think it was on E-Bombs World of all places. And yeah, we all loved it, but I was working nights at the time, so I didn't really watch it at current. But I would laugh my ass off when I got a skit, and then I ended up kind of binging it much later. And you mentioned that the comedy didn't age well. I kind of have a problem with that because I think that comedy is kind of timeless. If it's funny, it's funny. If it was funny in 2008, it's still funny in 2021. Some of the language or this some of the subject matter may have been should have been handled in a different way, a more sensitive way, but the underlying humor behind it is kind of timeless. At least my old ass thinks so. But
Yeah.
yeah, very funny. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch The Whitest Kids You Know. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was talking about. Like that shit is funny if you go watch it, but like the things they say and just the wording of some stuff, it could have been better. But yeah, that should always be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, I agree.
All right, Randy, you got anything to say about that?
No, not really. I watched The Whitest Kids You Know. I think either at the very beginning or the very end. I don't know. That's kind of a large window. The show I think was on for like 5 years, so I really don't know. But I watched a good bit. I thought it was really funny. I mainly watched the skits on YouTube more so than anything. Like a few friends would, like we always had inside jokes. Obviously the Lincoln sketch. We still quote that to this day. But yeah, incredibly sad. The only thing I've got to say is typically whenever a death is ruled an accident, that's usually a really bad thing. And I just like I can't help but think, you know what I mean? Like I just hope that his passing wasn't terrible.
Yeah, yeah. It sucks. Just I think I obviously didn't know the dude, but I think he wanted to be remembered for his comedy. So the best way to honor someone is to fucking appreciate what the art that they put out into the world. So go fucking watch it.
For
Yeah.
sure. Right. Next we have Bam Margera suing Paramount. I'll hand
Yeah.
that to you, Steve. Go for it.
Yeah. So Bam Margera has been kind of spiraling hard for a while now. I think we even mentioned it in a previous episode. But he was kicked off of Jackass Forever, which is coming out I think in October. It's soon. And they fired him because he had a wellness agreement, which essentially meant his ass needed to be sober. And he failed the drug test. It looks like it was Adderall. And Margera's lawsuit claims, I've been on this for 10 years, if not longer. I have a prescription. This is not just for terminating my contract. And I don't know yet, but I bet there's going to be a lot more that comes out if this lawsuit proceeds because, the dude's clearly fucked up on more than Adderall. At least it appears to be. At the very least, he's drinking and taking it. I believe Adderall is an ADHD drug. I've never been on it, and none of my kids luckily haven't been on it either. I know it's abused in colleges quite a bit to help people fucking study and focus. At least that's what people tell me. Um, but yeah, he got fired by the producers of the film is what it's the article I read said, and that's who he's
So
suing.
not that it really matters. I was on Adderall for about 7 years, I'd say, and I don't think I acted like odd in any way, but that's because I wasn't abusing it. So if he is acting odd and it's noticeably odd, either he's abusing it or, like you said, he's drinking or doing some other form of drugs. Because someone that is prescribed Adderall, typically, whenever they're taking the correct dosage, they function like a normal person. Like you would not know that someone's on Adderall unless they're either abusing it or they're just definitely not supposed to be using it. In which case, they're abusing it.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't really follow Instagram too much, but that was one of the page I did follow was Bam's because he's fucking spiraling and the shit he's posting. Like he had a notebook. It looked like the beginning of Seven, if you've seen that movie, where he's just on and on, pages and pages of just random. Looks like
Oh, are
free
you talking about
flowing.
his language that he wrote?
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking weird, dude. He's
Yeah,
out there.
I watched a video on it. So he's fucking crazy. He claims that he wrote a language. All he did was, now, admittedly, it's very strange, but he like created a font, and he was like writing all sorts of crazy shit. And all it is a font. It's still English, just with different characters as the letters. And then people were giving him shit about it. They're like, "Bro, that is a font. Like you did not invent a language." And then he went crazy on those people. So he's just fucking nuts, man. Like all over the place with it.
Yeah, and the what I was looking at, it was in his font, but it was like I don't know, like an entire notebook torn apart and every page
Yeah.
posted. It was, yeah, he's fucking out there. I hope he gets the help he needs, whether it's mental
Yeah.
health, whether it's drugs. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's clearly not in the right state of mind. And he was fired by the producers, which are all jackass people. It's Spike Jones, Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Jeff Tremaine, and then a few names I didn't recognize. But if you look at their credits, they've all been producers on anything that Jackass has done or touches Jackass, like Bad Grandpa and Wild Boys and shit like that. So
That's
it's
what's most telling to me is that
mhm.
it's the guys that are, around him. It's not just some, corporate bigwigs that just don't like him for some reason. It's guys that actually know who he is and what he's about. So that's the scariest part about all of it, because I mean, back in the day, we know that plenty of the guys, that they were on shit. They're
Yeah.
all very upfront about it, and at least for the most part, I know for a fact that most of them are clean and awesome guys now. So that's really frightening that it's those guys that don't want to have him on.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is a shitty situation. You'd hope getting fired by your best friends or at least former best friends would be a rock bottom or a wake up call, but it doesn't look like it. He's fighting it. He's, suing them. So this sucks. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because if it proceeds and shit becomes public, we'll know what the hell he's been doing and why they felt a need to take such drastic measures. But maybe it'll be severed before then. We'll see.
I have some very minor breaking news. Well, it's not really breaking. It's like 3 hours old. So did you guys watch the Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, well, Idris Elba is going to be playing Knuckles in the second one.
that's hard.
that
That's
is good.
That's
that
hard.
that is awesome, but I would have never guessed that that's who they would cast for that role. Like, I don't even know how they landed him. Like, but I'm looking forward to it. I did not even watch the first one yet. I will watch it eventually. Frankly, I forgot that it existed. But that's really cool. Now I'm certainly going to be watching the second one.
Well, a
Hell yeah.
little teaser to upcoming topic is Idris Elba is in Suicide Squad, and he
Oh,
does really well. He's fucking awesome in it.
He really is. So do we want to? I think I had a topic to do before this, but we can definitely go into that if you want to. I just want to be sure to warn the listeners before we get spoilers.
Do you wanna touch on the Marvel versus Capcom 2
Yeah, I'll do
first?
that, and then we can slide into Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
But all right. So yeah, if you're a gamer, retro gamer, you definitely know what Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is. One of the most iconic fighting games to date. Some people say that's the best fighting game still. Like it's highly regarded. People are still competing in tournaments for that shit daily, just like Smash Brothers Melee and shit. But recently there's been a resurgence of people trying to bring it back, get it remastered kind of thing. And it's being led by his I'm not sure what his actual name is, but I know he streams on Twitch and he's on Twitter, YouTube. His name's Maximilian Dude. I watch him almost every night when he streams, so I've been kind of up to date on what's been happening with this. So he put out a video just kind of ranting about how good the game is, things like that, and how if there were like minor improvements to it, it could be amazing even still. Like so he posted that video just to talk about it with a hashtag that says hashtag free MVC2. And it's been 12 years since the game came out, so everybody's kind of rooting for it to come back. And so when he posted that, a developer from where is it? From Digital Eclipse, Stephen Frost, he quoted that tweet, which is basically a reply on Twitter. And just for a little bit of background, Digital Eclipse worked on like restorations of previous Capcom and Disney games, like their little collections and such. So they've already been working with Capcom. So that's kind of wild how this guy reached out since he's been working with them already. But he says, would love to work on an updated release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, adding some quality of life improvements as well as our signature Digital Eclipse behind the scenes goodies. Feel free to reach out to us, and Capcom USA, we're standing by. So that's fucking awesome. Like if this game came out and got like modern day updates such as like rollback netcode and maybe a higher FPS and like a cleanup on the graphics and stuff, that shit would be sick. I would play that immediately.
Yeah, I would too. Something I did recently with my son is I grabbed an arcade one up cabinet from Walmart and converted it into a Raspberry Pi arcade cabinet. I updated the buttons, the joysticks, added a button, did a lot of shit. It was a fun project, but that one of the first games I played was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I had played it once or twice beforehand, but that shit is awesome. I think that's the game we play the most on that. Even if they did that, made an arcade one up version of it, that shit would sell like hotcakes. I'd much rather see a true remake. The one thing I'm always worried about is if they try to fucking, put shit behind a paywall, you only get part of the roster or any shit like that, which seems to be the microtransaction trend amongst modern producers and publishers really fucking sucks. And that's what I would worry about. But other than that, I would buy that shit day one as well. It would be a hell of a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. And I think one of the things that's kind of driving this free MVC2 thing is the most recent Marvel vs. Capcom, which was I believe Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That shit sucked. It wasn't good.
Yes.
So
Yep.
people immediately went back to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is still decent, but it didn't get a lot of support after they released it. So it kind of just got released and stayed, other than like balance updates and shit. But there's actually another tweet that that came out from just a couple of FGC, which is fighting game community kind of big people. They were just replying to that tweet saying things like, would love to see it happen. Seriously, thanks for listening to the community and acknowledging how a re-release could be improved, such as better rollback netcode, which is rollback netcode is like the gold tier for fighting game netcode. That's what you want in a fighting game. Smash Brothers doesn't have that, and that's why the online sucks ass.
So, my understanding of it, and I could be wrong, please correct me, is rollback netcode is essentially the game tries to predict your movement, and to make the experience better, it starts moving in that direction. And if you end up doing something different, it will roll it back. So instead of having a game that is fully lagging or just is a shit experience, it tries to predict it and improve the experience. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, that's basically my understanding of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of makes
Yeah.
for a smoother experience.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully this happens. I'd buy that shit day one.
hell yeah, the roster was amazing, and like the Marvel versus Capcom games, they're very beginner friendly. Like you can button mash fucking forever and just have an absolute blast. But it's also
Yeah.
very technical to where like the higher level players have those infinite combos and shit, and just that's have fun that way too. So that's sick. Would definitely love for this shit to pick up. Which that tweet of Maximilian, like him ranting about it, that has thousands and thousands of retweets and favorites. So it's definitely getting some attention. So just gotta keep watching it. Hopefully something happens with it, and if it does, we will probably be talking about it.
Sweet.
So yeah, next we have the Suicide Squad review, and
Wait.
so wait,
Hold on. So Randy actually may have to hop off the show early. And he doesn't want to be spoiled. He hasn't watched Suicide Squad. So I was wondering if we can do either the podcast work life balance or the Young Nudie review next.
I would say we could do the work life balance since I mean we kind of want all of us to partake, so I'm fine with that. We can save the nudie thing for later.
Okay, cool.
Is that cool with you, Randy?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So yeah, moving into our main topic, then we'll just touch on the other stuff later. Um, how we maintain a work-life balance, because growing up and trying to balance both, nobody teaches you how to do that shit, so it can be tough. Steve, I'll throw that to you first since you're the oldest one here. How do you
Son
do
of a
that?
bitch. So one thing that kind of that helps is as I get older, like when I first came onto the workforce, the entire everyone older, all the boomers, they all try to encourage you to grind. Just fucking work, man. Hustle. Get that shit. Get that bag. Do what you got to do. Work your ass off. So working 50, 60 hours a week was the norm and that was expected. And that's kind of what I did early on. And then I ended up, I was working nights and I was working in a union shop, which meant that at the end of the month, everyone was slowing down because they wanted overtime to get, it was time and a half after 8 hours and rent was due next week. So I was regularly working 50, 60 hours, and I ended up going to school during the day and essentially working 50, 60 hours nights, going to school 8 hours, or I think it was 6 hours a day. Um, and I had no life at all. Um, but as I get older and settled down, I found I needed it. I could not continue. It's not fucking doable. So right now, I I'm in a executive position, so I can't completely disconnect, but I do a hell of a lot better at putting my phone down and only looking at it like once an hour. If someone needs to get me, they'll call me. That's a little different, but I'm not answering emails after hours anymore. And another thing that kind of helps me actually have my own life. I obviously have kids. I've told different numbers every time we're on the show. I have a different number of kids. Today it's 11. But most of them are teenagers and they don't want to be bothered with me. So now they're a little more independent and I don't have as many like baseball games or whatever running around that I was doing 2 3 years ago. So I actually have a bit of a life for myself, and the only way to do it is to actually set those boundaries and respect those boundaries. Disconnect from work when you can, um, if you can, uh, and just be true to it. Be true to yourself and give yourself that time.
Yeah. Like one of the things I found difficult was like after work, I never really knew what to do because um like at my old job, you were either we had like a on call rotation. So even when I got off of work, like I would sometimes still have my phone on me. Like I couldn't just go like drive to the store, or, like go hang out with my girlfriend, or just take a nap or something, anything like that, because my phone would go off potentially. So I always had to be like on edge, and that shit sucked. And like sometimes you'd have to work Saturdays, so like your Saturday was gone, and like I struggled to find what to do to like get away from work. So I started just fucking gaming. Like that was my escape, and that was my only escape for pretty much still is my only escape with like I recently bought a house, so like obviously you have house shit to do. Like you don't realize how much time it takes to fucking maintain your yard, bro. That shit is tough.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, and even still, like growing up, I found that shit's kind of fun. I hated that shit as a kid, but like cutting grass is that shit is therapy, low key.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only time, because I have 34 kids. That's the only time someone's not bothering me. I put in earbuds and I'm just zoned out. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yep, same. And like I don't know if this is like still on the topic of maintaining that balance, but like as I've like gotten older, like I don't know if it was just me and how I grew up, but like I never had anyone teach me how to do like man shit. Like I don't know how to be a man yet.
Oh, you a bitch.
Yeah, basically. But like I don't know how to fucking repair stuff. Like maybe minor shit, like if a hole gets put in a
YouTube.
wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube. YouTube is my father, literally. Like, I don't know how to change my oil, so I would probably YouTube that. Like
Oh
shit
my
like that.
Yep.
god.
Bro, I
No,
still take my shit to Walmart.
no, I'm the
No.
same way. My dad left when I was 3, and my stepfather was a crackhead alcoholic, so I had no father figure. And I grew up in the city in an apartment, so I don't know half that shit. YouTube is what taught me that. And as far as getting oil change, I would rather pay someone else $30 to do it than for me to do it. I will
On
change a tire.
God.
I'll do a lot of that other shit, but a basic oil change, my time is worth more than that. So I'm with you on that, Mitri.
Well, okay, so I strongly disagree on the oil change. Because if you're paying someone $30 to do your oil, you're getting dirt oil, like you're getting shit oil. I like to get good oil and do it myself. And honestly, I enjoy doing maintenance like that. As long as I don't have to take the engine out, I'm good. Like I replace basic shit, like nothing crazy, but alternator, radiator, like basic shit that is pretty much like right there for the picking. I love doing that shit. Um, Now transmission work and shit like that, of course, I would have to outsource that. I don't know how to do that, nor could I possibly fucking like control myself that long to do something that daunting. But I love doing maintenance to our vehicles. Uh, I like doing repair shit, but no one taught me how to do it. It was mostly either trial and error or fucking YouTube. Um, I
Yeah.
have a very similar father father type shit to you. My dad left, and then I got a stepdad at age 3, and he was not uh really a good guy either. But yeah, shit's hard, man. Whenever no one's like fucking teaching you, like I learned so much shit so late, but it's all good now.
Yeah, bro,
Yeah.
same. I don't even do my taxes. My mom still does that shit.
My wife does mine.
My wife does mine.
Bro, I didn't start paying my own phone bill until I was like 21. That shit was hard and I miss it.
Yeah, I tried. So like I was forced into a lot of it, but I also wanted to do a lot of it just to prove that I could. Like I started paying my phone bill at 17, and then as soon as I was 18, I started my own phone plan. Like cuz when I was 17, I still had to be on my family's. But I moved out at 17. Uh like I did everything the literal moment that I could like feasibly do it. and like it fucked me in a lot of ways. But I'm really glad that I did it too. But I guarantee you, like if I could go back, I would have taken so much more advantage of, I guess, like the kindness of others. Like I would have
So
stayed at home and stacked up as much money as I could, because instead I spent all my shit.
Yep,
it,
same.
it's funny. I moved out at 16 as well because of the crackhead stepfather was stealing from
Yeah.
me. But I took the hard route in a lot of my early childhood, early adulthood, I guess. When I could have stayed home, and it would have sucked, but it would have saved me a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Do we want to give, or at least try to give some like tips on how to vibe outside of work? Like shit like it's
I just be
okay.
stroking my shit.
On
Yeah,
God,
he
same.
mostly strokes his shit.
But yeah, like moral of the story is like it's okay to like disconnect from work. Like literally, I get off at 4:30. I had somebody message me for work shit at 4:35, and I just simply locked my phone. Fuck you.
I'm
I'm
working
done for the
right
day.
now. I'm literally responding to a customer right now.
And
Yeah, see,
that's
Randy's a little
different for you.
different. Yeah, he's got his own business. He's the
He's an
only one that can.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really it's hard to give advice other than to set boundaries and respect those boundaries, because each person's unique.
Hmm.
If your role is you are on call, like I'm a director, so if shit goes down, if it's serious, someone's going to call me and I'm going to
Yeah.
have to respond to it. But yeah, find what you like to do and set fucking a schedule. Like one of our friends who's vibing with us right now is going to the gym. Set a schedule. Go to that gym 2 days a week. Make sure you're there at 5 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday. Because if you get knocked out of that schedule, it's it's so fucking hard to get back on it. Um, so yeah, that's all I can say is respect boundaries and respect your schedule.
Yeah, for sure. Like even simple shit like doing chores. Like you have to stay on top of that shit. Otherwise it gets too big, and then at least for me, I'm a huge procrastinator. I'm lazy as hell. So if I don't do chores, like that shit stacks up and I get really stressed, and it takes a whole lot of motivation for me to end up doing that shit.
Yeah, and I think for that it's setting goals that are achievable, small, simple goals that are achievable. There's an acronym for it that escapes me, but like I'm going to sweep the stairs, I'm going to vacuum, I'm going to put the clothes away when it comes out of the fucking dryer so it doesn't sit on the couch for a week. Whatever it is, set it and do it, complete it. And some people respond better when they reward themselves. If I get this shit done, then I can play that game for an hour.
Is it the
But
snap thing? Is that what you're talking about?
maybe
Stop now and plan.
I think it's another one that's like simple, achievable goals. I don't remember exactly what it is, but
Saggy.
yeah, if you snap and sag, you'll
I be
get that shit
sagging.
done. um, but yeah, I think it's hard when you're an adult and you can just fucking do it, right? Like, I can just play that video game right now. It doesn't fucking matter. But if you actually hold yourself accountable and I'm not going to game until I get this chore done, or whatever goal it is, change your fucking oil. Um, I think that's the biggest thing when you're an adult and no one's fucking forcing you.
Yeah. And like the same thing goes for like your money. Like you have access to adult money now. Like I'm so bad with money management, bro. I just buy whatever the fuck I want and I pay for it at the end of the week when I can't fucking eat. Like I have sleep for dinner. So I that's one of the things I still have to learn is just I gotta chill, bro.
Fucking put it in a savings that you don't touch, whether it like a CD or something
Do
where
you realize
like
that means nothing? Like
What?
saying that to like put it in a savings that you won't touch. That means nothing. I have so many savings that I'm not supposed to access, and I always take money out of it. I'm like, oh, I have $1,200 in here. No, I
Yoink.
don't.
Bro, literally same. When I first set up my bank account, I got a savings and set $50 to come out every week. Bro, I transferred that shit out as soon as it hit the savings. I was like, hell no. And then they shut my savings account down, so I no longer have that.
Yeah, like
if you put it on like Ally banking, if you actually put it in there, it takes 2 to 3 days. And maybe you won't buy that shit because it takes 3 days before it hits your checking. And you're like, well, I didn't actually fucking need it. You have to actually put that distance between the account and your pocket.
yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
Self-control is a huge part of it. I know for a fact that there are some accounts where they limit you on the like withdrawal amount. So like you can still take money out of it if you need to, but like you can set that limit, I don't know, $50 or something. That way, like you just need a little bit of bill money or something, you can take out that 50, but you're not going to take out, if you stacked up like $1,000, you're not just going to take it out.
Yeah.
Either that or there's some that you can't withdraw any money until a threshold's met.
Yeah, if you can't keep yourself disciplined, then you need to put in those stop gaps until you are trained. What's it, 21 days to develop a habit? Whatever it takes, it really is. And I'm the oldest one here, and I struggle with some of this stuff myself, but I've gotten much better than I was 10 years ago. It's repetition and discipline.
Yeah, being an adult sucks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Remember,
same.
Remember when you're a kid and you just can't fucking wait? Like, no one's telling me I can't have fucking cookies for dinner. Fuck you. I'm going to be an adult someday. I'll do whatever the hell I want. And now if I eat cookies for dinner, my stomach hurts for days.
Someone's going to tell me I can't stroke my shit.
Bro, like now if I eat like 3 hours before bed, like I have acid reflux. Like being an adult is ass. I never used to get that shit.
Me either. Yep. Yeah.
I'd be farting and stuff.
Gross.
They told you couldn't fart as a kid.
Like I just used to not fart like that, but I'd be farting now.
I think that's your diet. What's changed in your diet?
This man eats chicken nuggets and mac and cheese.
I do not be eating that. I mean, I do eat that absolutely, but that's not like my
staples.
That's not all I eat.
You know what I think it is?
It might be staples.
Arby's.
Like, I definitely eat. Nah, I haven't eaten Arby's in probably like 2 or so months.
The white cheddar mac and cheese ain't out yet.
Exactly. Whenever that shit's back, I will be there.
Terrible.
All right, I think that's all we got for the main topic, I guess. Randy, how long are you with us?
The second that you start on the spoilers, I'm going to be leaving.
All right, cool. Well, lucky for you, that's the next topic.
If he hangs up, is it going to fuck up our display?
Yes, I will be Randy and you will be me. So, Randy, can
I
you
want to be Metri?
Can you stay in the chat and then?
Yeah, I can leave the shit going. I'll just be gone for probably about an hour, hour and a half, and I'll just come turn it off whenever.
Okay,
we're all done.
That works.
Mute your shit so we don't hear your background.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go and start my recording too.
Sounds good.
Later.
See ya.
All right. Bye.
All right. It is Now There Were Two. So now we have the Suicide Squad review, and also I'm going to be going into like their character origins because a few of them I didn't even know who they were until this movie. So I think it'd be pretty cool to go into it for those who don't know, because Suicide Squad.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do we want to like we're going to be talking about spoilers, so we should definitely say that right now. Is this their actual final topic? I'm fine with that, but then we can tell people, if you don't want to, you're not going to miss anything if you drop out.
I could switch that up with my anime segment, and then we could finish out with Suicide Squad.
We're never going to get to Suicide Squad. It's like the 4th time we moved it.
It'll be fine. So yeah, All right, we're gonna move into my anime segment now. This is something new. I don't know if it'll be recurring, but I'm really excited to talk about anime shit. So yeah, we're gonna slide into that shit right now. You'll notice that I'm gonna change into an overlay that's just me and it's very weebified. So if you like anime shit, you're gonna have a blast. Kinda, I hope so. So yeah, anime time starts now.
All right. Am I gone?
Yep, you're gone. It's just me. The whole background is now the Cafe LeBlanc from Persona 5, animated in 8-bit form.
Beautiful. I love it.
So, I'll start this anime topic with, I guess, my anime recommendation for the last thing I watched, and that is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. This shit was amazing. It's a manga series. I forget how long it is, but it is still going. It's cute. It's like a romance type anime. No people with like powers and shit. Nobody flying around. It's the main character Nagatoro. She's on screen right now with her shit-eating grin. She is an asshole. She bullies her friend basically. She calls him senpai, but yeah, it's really cute. She's cute. The plot is amazing. It's a typical thing of like the girl or the two people start out kind of disliking each other and then they end up falling in love. It's fucking amazing. All right, next I'll move into what I'm watching currently, and that is Fate Zero. Oh my fucking god. The Fate series is so motherfucking long. I have so many shows and movies to watch. It's gonna take me months. But the story is quality, the characters are quality, the animation is fucking top tier. It's more of kind of a darker anime. It's not really any comedy, at least that I've run into yet. But all the characters are likable, the art is fantastic, the plot is pretty dope. It's like I want to say like medieval kind of, but it's still like modern. Like there's still like churches who are in power, shit like that, exorcisms, that kind of shit. Knights, armor, swords.
What time frame is it? Is it supposed to take place in, I don't know, ancient times?
No, it's modern as hell. Like current day it could be, but there's still those things like stuff like that. So it's
weird.
It's kind of like certain people from certain factions basically have the power to summon a powerful like entity and help them fight and stuff. It's basically like a battle. At least that's what I'm picking up from it so far, because I'm only like 12 episodes into Fate Zero. So, yeah, that's what I'm watching right now. If you've already seen it, please tell me how much you loved it in the comments. I would love to be excited and keep watching it. So now I'll move into... Wait, what were you saying?
No, you're good. Go on.
Okay. Next, I will move into an anime game recommendation. And that would be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I bet you thought it was going to be a Persona game, but ha, you've been fooled. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2, fucking amazing game. It took me like 100 hours to beat. It's on Nintendo Switch and it came out in 2017. Nintendo still has that shit at $60, so if you want to catch it on a sale, good fucking luck. It's about a guy who finds a sword that is, I don't know, the sword is actually let me back up. I'll just give the premise of Xenoblade as a whole. So, you have drivers and you have what they call blades. The driver is the master of the blade, and the blade can be a weapon of some kind, but it's also a person. So that sword comes with the girl, or the girl comes with the sword, and they're kind of born from these crystal things. So you collect the crystal shits, and then you summon the blade, which is the person thing. Yeah, comes with a sword. And they just kind of fight with you and shit like that, and yeah, that's the premise of Xenoblade. I'm not sure if they're all like that, but I know for a fact Xenoblade 1 and 2 are. But really excellent game. The characters are amazing. Hella content. Yeah, if you like big titty waifus, they are definitely here.
You had me at big titty.
All right, next is what I'm currently playing anime game wise, and it's a fucking curse, and it is draining me of all of my money. That is motherfucking Genshin Impact. I hate this game. I love this game.
Isn't it free to play?
Yes, free to play, but it's a gacha game, so everything else is not free. The characters are paid, or it's kind of like you pay for a chance to get the character. There's like a lot of characters that you can raffle for, and you just have to hope you get lucky and get the one you want. Or you can keep getting duplicates and you'll be pissed, like me. I'm a salty bastard. I have hundreds of characters that I don't want. I only want the girls. The one that's in the current screenshot on screen is Yoimiya. She just dropped like 30 minutes ago, so I'm like really fucking excited to get off of this podcast and go try to get her. I probably won't, but who knows? Hopefully I get lucky.
So
But yeah.
Can you buy specific characters, or do you just gamble and hope you get it?
Yep, you just gotta gamble and hope you get them. It's pretty trash.
That's such garbage.
Yeah, but it's a full game. You don't have to pay for anything. You could have a full experience with paying absolutely zero. So the option's there for you, but I have poor self-control as mentioned earlier, so I'm in debt. Fuck this game, but I'm gonna go play it after the stream.
So when Genshin first, like, they even just started talking about it, it was kind of billed as a Breath of the Wild alternative, but now that it's here, it does not feel like that at all. I, granted, never played it. I had some issues when it first launched, and the DRM around it did not like that shit. The anti-cheat, kernel level anti-cheat, kind of turned me off, and I never picked it up. But would you say it's anything like Breath of the Wild?
The similarities end with the grass. I would say that. The grass and the climbing. Yeah. There's nothing else Breath of the Wild-esque about it.
I didn't think so. Okay.
But yeah, that's it for the Weeb segment. Let me know if you liked it. I'll continue to do more. But yeah, we'll slide back into our main screen.
Do it. I'm back.
Steve is back with us. So yeah, now we finally can get to Suicide Squad.
Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead.
All right, so just spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about Suicide Squad. If you don't want to be spoiled, mute, or actually you can probably stop watching now. This will be our last topic.
Yeah. If you're listening, you can turn it off, but still like and review. Oh, I forgot to mention before we get to Suicide Squad, we're actually on Apple Podcasts. We finally got past that technical bullshit. So please rate and review us, because that's the best way for us to grow is Apple actually recommending us to people. And you should recommend us as well, because we're awesome and the show's great. So please rate and review. And now we can get back to Suicide Squad.
All right. Suicide Squad. Spoiler alert. Like we said earlier, leave now, because at this moment we are in full spoiler territory. All right. So Suicide Squad. Me and Steve both watched it this weekend. I watched it twice because I loved it that much. It's directed by James Gunn, which he does the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and those shits are great. So in turn, this movie is also great.
James Gunn is great. I'm sorry, I don't mean to step on you. Go watch Slither as well. Slither is fucking awesome. That's the first movie I saw that James Gunn directed. He is great at adding comedy to non-comedy. So Slither is a horror movie. This is an action adventure movie, but they're both very funny and well done. It's not too much with the comedy. But if you're not expecting it, it may be a turnoff. I know one of our mutual friends, Chris Pyro, who was on the show before, he was frustrated early on because of the comedy, and he was expecting something else, I guess, maybe something more traditional DC. But Suicide Squad, in that vein, is probably closer to a traditional Marvel movie where it's funny, but it's still an action movie. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Mitri.
No, you're good. You basically said everything that I was gonna say. But yeah, the comedy, like, I'm not gonna say I expected it. The first one, the first Suicide Squad wasn't that funny. This one is definitely more funny, and I appreciate it, but it definitely caught me off guard because it started immediately. Like that shit was funny from the jump.
Yes.
And I think John Cena was a great character, even though he turned out to be a dickhead. But I liked him at the start. Him battling with fucking uh Idris, like their banter back and forth was amazing.
Yeah, Idris was awesome as well. Yeah, I hadn't seen Cena as an actor too much. I think he was in a couple episodes of Psych, but that's, if you've watched Psych, it's very lighthearted. But this movie, he did a nice job of being funny, being tough, being a badass, but also being an asshole. It was a nice balance of all those character components.
Yeah. And I guess now I'll kind of roll into the characters or the main characters of the movie and their origins, which the movie started off weird because there were two squads. One kind of like bullshit squad where everyone died immediately. I miss the Weasel. He's not dead.
Yes,
I fuck
yeah,
with
thank
Weasel.
God. Yeah, the Weasel was awesome. Yeah,
Creepy
so
bastard.
the first squad was an actual Suicide Squad. They
Hmm.
were sent out to die, to be a distraction. So, spoiler, obviously. But yeah, it was interesting to see that Harley was on the squad that was supposed to die.
Yeah. And Rick Flag as well. I'm surprised they weren't with
Yes.
Bloodsport and everyone.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
fucking TDK, the detachable kid, most useless fucking character. Like as soon as he detached his arms, like fucking he was done for. He just like slapped him around a little bit. That shit was hilarious. And fucking Pete Davidson, bro, he got clapped. First one to get clapped, head or face shot clean off. His character's
Yeah,
name
that
was Dick Hurts.
yeah, that's another thing about this movie. It is gory. I
Very
wasn't
gory.
expecting that. I mean, I knew it was a rated R, but yeah, I was not expecting that level of gore.
Yeah, and the gore was well done too. Like I
Mhm.
don't know if that's weird to say, but like it looked good.
Yes, agreed.
But yeah. As far as like the main squad, we've got obviously Harley Quinn. We all know Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. Great. Best Harley we've ever had. Wait, is she the
Yeah.
only live action Harley we've had?
The only one I can remember, obviously, Harley from the Batman animated series is fucking awesome too. And
Mm-hmm.
basically everything we know about Harley comes from that original character from the animated series. But yeah, Margot definitely makes it her own, and she's fucking awesome. She's a legit actress, and she brings the character. She is this character.
Yeah, and I actually learned this morning that the scene where she like choked the dude with her legs and then grabbed his key with her feet and unlocked herself.
Yeah.
That was all her. Like she did that
Damn.
100%. So she's fucking dope.
Yeah, she'll kick my ass. I'm gonna stay away from her.
I want her to kick my ass. Please step on me. All right. Next we have Peacemaker, which was played by John Cena. His origins are a little weird because he wasn't originally a DC character. He was originally a Charlton Comics character, and that brand kind of fell apart, and he was snatched up by DC. And his character is basically like he will obtain peace no matter the cost. So he's not above killing men, women, children, animals. He just wants peace, and he will get it. He's just gonna have to kill some people for it. So
During your research on that, is that a trait that is true to the comics? I
mhm.
wasn't sure if that was that. So that wow, okay,
Yeah, That's always been his character. He never wanted to do that, but like he was pushed to do that because of how shitty the world is. And like he doesn't have any powers or anything. I guess his only power, which if you look him up, it's probably one of the only ones listed, is like he's smart as hell. He has good tech. He's also in peak physical condition, so kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
He has guns. His arsenal is literally just guns. He has a jetpack in the comics, which they didn't bring that to the movie. Maybe he'll have it in the show that he's getting off of this movie.
Yes. Yep.
So that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, John Cena is going to star in an HBO series based on the character Peacemaker, so that should be interesting.
It should. John Cena fucking loves being that character. Like
He's good.
if you see him promoting it, he's Peacemaker. Like that's he loves it. And next we have I'll just do King Shark. There's not much to say about him. They chose I'm not gonna say they chose a weird King Shark because I mean they're just different. DC has like different universes that they can pull from. But I don't think this was the King Shark that was like the scientist turned fucking shark. Um, because obviously King Shark in this movie wasn't the brightest. Like he could speak, but that's about it. As far as his powers go, wait, go ahead.
I was going to say he's played by Sylvester Stallone, and James Gunn and Stallone go back a ways, and I guess Gunn just called Sylvester up and said, "I need you to come do this character. There's no physical acting. You just got to say a couple lines." And Sylvester's like, "Whatever you need, I'll be right there." So that kind of a cool story behind that.
Yeah. As far as his powers go, he's not invincible. He has longevity. He lives as long as a fucking shark would, which them bitches live forever. He is bulletproof. He's insanely strong. His sense of smell is good, or mainly for like blood. But he has very sharp teeth. And actually in the movie, he fell from that building and fucking splatted and just got up and proceeded to eat people.
Yeah, that was badass. That was really cool.
He's awesome. And then next we have Bloodsport, which was played by Idris Elba, which I think this is probably the most interesting character. He doesn't have powers either, but or his origin was basically it's been changed and like retconned a couple of times.
Yeah.
Basically, him and his brother wanted to fight in the Vietnam War when they got older, or I mean, they didn't know it was going to be the Vietnam War, but they wanted to like serve the country. And when the time came for them to do that, his brother went to fight in the Vietnam War, but he was a pussy and didn't go. And so he fled to, I think it was Canada. And his brother he lost his arms and legs in the war, came back home, and he was pissed, obviously. And so he was Lex Luthor, which was like Superman's like main shit, found him and kind of put him to work. He needed him to hurt Superman, so he outfitted him with really good tech, really good weapons. And if you actually listen close in the intro of him in the movie, Amanda Waller says he's in the prison for putting Superman in the ICU, basically. So
yes, yeah.
He shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet and absolutely fucked him up. And one cool thing about him is that his suit allows him to teleport weapons to him from anywhere. His helmet is also.
Did not know that.
Yeah, dude, it's sick. And like his helmet is also able to protect him from like space travel and shit because he's been to different universes in the comics and stuff. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, like I'm not sure if they did it in the show, but I was assuming that like when they were fighting Starro, he just put that like gigantic gun together. I was thinking he was like teleporting like a whole weapon to him piece by piece and building it. I'm not sure if that's canon, but that's what I thought he was doing. So yeah, that's dope.
I wasn't sure. What I thought was interesting is obviously he plays Bloodsport, and Will Smith played Deadshot in the original Suicide Squad, and I guess Idris Elba did that because he wanted to leave the door open for Will Smith to come in any subsequent films. Hopefully, there's another one. I know the movie didn't perform as well as the studio had hoped, but I thought it was fucking awesome. I don't know if it suffered because people are sick of the DC universe or because the original Suicide Squad was kind of shit. But it's definitely worth watching. If you like these type of movies, this is fucking perfect. Go watch it.
Hell yeah. And just to go back to Bloodsport, as far as powers go, he has none. He is in peak physical condition as well. Yeah, I think that's it for him. Dope character. That was the first I've ever actually heard of him. Oh, one more thing. He's really gifted in combat and he can make anything a weapon. So that's pretty sick. So man is deadly as hell.
Yeah.
And next we have Ratcatcher or Ratcatcher 2. When I was trying to
Yeah.
research Ratcatcher 2, I didn't find anything. Like I saw Ratcatcher, who is like a villain of Batman, but I don't think she's like a canon character as far as I know. At least I wasn't able to find it. But yeah, she controls rats with a device. She can make them come to her. She can make them do things. She has a pet rat named Sebastian. She is very smart, very resourceful, very cool character. She actually ended up being my favorite character of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she was awesome. So Ratcatcher 2 is the daughter and protege of Ratcatcher.
Hmm.
And she joined Task Force X. Um, and I think a lot of this is either from a recent comic or designed for the movie because everything I'm seeing is dated from 2021.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think she may have either been designed for this movie or very recently for the Task Force X comic series.
yeah, and I think that's where Bloodsport's retcon came from because his origins were a little different before this year for that whole comic series. And
Yeah, I'm not sure which one came first, whether it's the Task Force X comic series of this year or this movie. But obviously, they're very closely tied.
yeah, and next we have fucking Polka Dot Man, played by David. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but yeah, I've seen him in a few movies. But man, Polka Dot Man was fucking sick. Like,
Yeah,
like yeah, his origins. He basically said it in the movie. Like, his mom was a scientist at Star Labs, which Star Labs has a hand in a lot of DC like superhero shit. Um, Mom was a scientist at Star Labs, infected him with like an alien virus, and now he has fucking polka dots. Uh, but when I was researching him, it was a little different than that. Uh, he, I didn't see anything about him like catching a virus or whatever, but I saw it more of as like his suit had the polka dots on it, and they weren't just like melting shit and exploding shit in the movies. Like he could morph them. They could be like a surfboard, like a disc he could throw. He could basically turn them into anything. And that's like he took them from his suit and used
yeah.
them. But in the movie,
That,
like,
that
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to reiterate. That's exactly how I read all the research I did on it. It's definitely all his powers come from his suit,
Hmm.
which is kind of sort of how it's done in the movie, except it's actually affecting him physically. Like
Yeah,
his body changes. He gets sick if he doesn't get the polka dots out.
yeah, that's so weird to say. Like he has to
Yeah.
puke up the polka dots or else he'll die. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was a great character. Like the way how he saw his mom everywhere was hilarious as fuck. Like
Yeah.
they were like, "Where's your mom now?" And he said, "Everywhere." And then the squad was his mom.
Yeah, it's it's sick. It's really dark humor, obviously, but
Yeah.
it works for this character, and the actor that plays him is fucking fantastic. He actually played in Ant-Man in the sequel, so he's actually a Marvel and a DC character
Hmm.
now.
Nice. And yeah, that's kind of it for Polka Dot Man. He shoots the polka dots from his suit, from his like little wrist contraptions. So yeah. And next we have I think that's it for like the main Suicide Squad. They're more or less kind of like D-list heroes or villains. But yeah, they're still super cool. And I guess you could throw Rick Flag in there, but he's not really a superhero. He's more or less the leader of the Suicide Squad. He's just a U.S. soldier put in charge by Amanda Waller to do these
Yes.
tasks. So really cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that he fucking died though, bro. That made me so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah. His death was definitely important for the movie, but it was shocking. I kind of appreciated that they would do that. It sucks because the actor that plays him and the character itself is really good and really works in this portrayal. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm thinking and hoping that his character will come back maybe for, oh no, I was going to say for the Peacemaker show, but my originally when we're watching the movie, Peacemaker dies, but then there's a post credit scene where he's not dead. So I had it in my head that Rick Flag would come back for a prequel series, but that's not what's going to happen. So I guess he's done. We'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? It's superhero shit. So somebody could have stole his body and fucking made him into a hero. Who knows?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next we have the main villain of the movie, which was Starro the Conqueror. Man, it's the origins were kind of weird in the movie. They just kind of found him floating in space and captured him and then brought him to Earth. But
Yeah.
in the comics, he is, or it was the actual starfish was like a queen, like an alien queen from like another universe or whatever. And an alien boy actually got attached to her and like kind of took control of her, was able to use the powers for himself, and he got really strong with her. Um, that's basically it. He was conquering shit, which is why his name's Starro the Conqueror. So I'm not sure if those are his exact origins for this. I'm not sure if they like retconned it for like what you were saying, this movie or that comic series. But I liked him as a villain. He was sick.
Yeah, I thought like this movie had so many spots where it could have gotten really cheesy. Like having this villain is as your main villain, it really could have failed. And the way that I guess it grew or ex- got more powerful is taking over humans, making them zombie appendages essentially. All that shit had so much potential to be corny, cheesy, stupid, and it just worked.
Mm-hmm.
If you just read the plot outline, a fucking giant starfish comes to Earth and starts wreaking havoc on a Central American country. That sounds fucking stupid. I'm not
Yeah.
watching that, but it works. So yeah, this villain worked. The movie itself was funny. It was exciting. You always wanted to see what was going to come next, and it didn't feel like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
For sure.
Two and a half hours at the movie theaters. It did not feel like that. It was good.
Yep. And I forgot to go over his powers, but telekinesis, he obviously has the power to eject many extensions of himself and possess people. The people die when he does that, so that's unfortunate. But he's fucking huge. He's very durable. Obviously, he's not invincible because they killed him, but he's actually one of the most powerful telepaths in the DC universe. So that's pretty cool. I thought that was cool when I was researching him. I did not know that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he was cool. It was good.
yeah. But yeah, as far as like overall my thoughts for the movie, I I loved every second of it. Honestly, like none of it was boring, none of it was cheesy. All the comedy worked. The action was sick, the effects were sick. The characters were really really well done. Like it was just a good movie. Like I'm not sure if people wanted to hate this because it was a DC EU like movie because people have like a trend of hating them. So I'm glad. I hope James Gunn kind of revived the DC universe, cinematic universe, or how whatever they're calling it. But yeah, I would
Yeah,
definitely love to see more of shit like this from DC.
yeah. I hope it does enough to continue because Batman. I hated Batman as a kid, but he's probably my favorite hero right now. I still read some of the graphic novels. I will go watch the Batman animated series. Gotham was pretty good. I like DC. I I can kind of get why people shit on it because it's dark and a little more serious than the Marvel universe. But this movie wasn't. This movie had dark elements, but it was lighthearted for the most part, and it was good. I don't know. I mean, I think Snyder gets a lot of hate, right? Zack Snyder did a lot of the DC movies, and he's got a way that he makes his movies. They all have the same feel to them. Um, so maybe that's what people don't like. I don't really know, but I am. This is actually. I think this is the first Black Widow did this as well. Actually, where it's released and streaming and in theaters, and that always undermines the box office overall. Um, but I think by all accounts, this movie underperformed by what the studio was hoping for. So we'll have to see what that really means long term.
Yeah, and even though it underperformed, it was still. I haven't seen anything bad about the movie. Everyone loves it. Like it was an actual hit. And like as far as like all the other DC cinematic shit goes, I personally haven't hated any of them. I don't know if that's just me being a comic book nerd or whatever, but like even Batman versus Superman, I thought was decent. I didn't hate it. The first Suicide Squad was good. I liked it. Um, the Justice League was good. The Snyder cut was just even better. But I don't know. I don't think Snyder should get any hate. The movie, I still like the movie at least.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of homerism. Batman versus Superman was kind of I it was at best it was overstuffed. It was like the crux of the movie is that he said Martha. Like that's kind of shitty. It's got flaws at best.
Yeah,
I don't think they're all garbage. Justice League was okay. I didn't hate it, but Snyder's cut was much better.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess so. The Suicide Squad movie had a budget of 185 million, which typically they have to double that to make their money back. And it made 71 million over since release, and that is only 26.2 million in the United States. Um, but again, it's released on streaming, so I don't know how they're going to uh, quantify how many streams they got and compared to the budget. So we'll see. It's kind of a new world for movies. We don't really know what's going to come of it.
Yeah. I think that's it. That's all I've got for the movie, other than just go watch this shit because it was amazing.
Yeah, go watch it so they'll keep making it, please. It's well worth it.
Yes, and there are more DC movies coming out. Like I know Black Adam is really close to like being finished, if it's not already finished. And then there's obviously a Flash movie releasing as well. There's a whole list of what they're coming out with, but I can't be bothered to go find it. But
Yeah, so it's Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
yep,
Those are definitely coming. They have release dates already set. I don't know if those will change, but Black Adam is in post production with a release date of July 29th, 2022. Everything else is still filming.
Yeah. So yeah, please go watch Suicide Squad so we get more quality DC movies because that universe definitely needs it. The characters are too fucking good to just let it die. So or die
Yeah,
and be limited to the animated movies, which I did go back and watch all of them recently. Those shits are so fucking good. They kind of set it up to like a Marvel, like an MCU type of thing. Like all the movies were connected to one giant plot and then you get to that plot. So it was really good. If you
yeah,
haven't seen them, definitely go watch them. There is a specific watch order because it goes across all of like the characters. Like there's Teen Titans movies, Batman movies, Superman movies, Constantine movies. Which yeah, if you didn't know, John Constantine is a DC character.
yes,
Um,
yeah. It skipped the Keanu Reeves movie from the
yeah,
'90s, but yeah,
yeah, but yeah, go definitely go watch them. Show DC some love because I personally we would love to see more of this shit. I think we deserve a fucking Watchmen movie, bruh.
yeah. Well, they just had a Watchmen TV series, right? I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's still going,
Yeah, I'm
but
not sure if
yeah,
it's still going, but I heard good things about that. But the whole Watchmen shit, we could make a whole episode on that shit alone because there's so much drama packed with that series. It's insane.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
um, with that, that has been just a position for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks everyone who's chatting. Um, we'll definitely put out this episode hopefully at the end of this week, and you can have it on your audio platforms if you want to listen again. But yeah, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and now Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review, show us some support on there so we can keep making these shows because we thrive off of the support that you show us. So the more support you show, the fucking better we get. So
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I will see you guys on the next stream. Thank you.
yep. Adios.